20 treacherous rhinos sabotage Jim Jordan's speakership. That's what we're going to be talking about on today's video. Yeah, fair warning, this is a video that's going to get your blood boiling a bit, as it ought. There is a time to get angry and activist, and today is the day precisely for that righteous anger and activism. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Again, unfortunately, I don't know how much better I'm going to make you feel today. And that's, of course, because we got 20 rhinos, Republicans in name only, or as I prefer, as you know, Diablos, Democrats and all but label. And by the way, that's exactly the way Dan Bongino put it. He pointed out that many Republicans on Capitol Hill are really Democrats, but no Democrats are really Republicans. That's the difference. There are many Republicans who are actually Democrats, but zero Democrats who are actually Republicans. That's the key difference that will at least make some semblance of sense for why the Republican Party never, ever, ever fails to completely betray their own voters. I mean, I have never even conceived of a party that so often lets down and forsakes the very people that put them into office. The Democrats don't, do they? When does Nancy Pelosi ever betray her voters? When? When does AOC ever betray her? When does she ever throw her supporters under the bus? Only the Republican Party in the Senate and the House, only Republicans always, without fail, end up betraying their voters in some way, shape, or form. Again, I've said it before. The Democrats own D.C. The Republicans merely rent. The Democrats own, Republicans rent. Rhinos are the Republicans that are the renters that have made their peace with the fact that if you want to accumulate power and affluence in the city, in the swamp, you have to appease the Democrats. You have to appease the powers that be that run D.C., and those powers hate you and despise you. So rhinos will always sell you short and throw you under the bus. And that's exactly what we saw yesterday. 20 Republicans in the House voted against Jim Jordan as Speaker. Now, keep in mind, the de facto leader of the party, Donald Trump, he's enthusiastically endorsed Jim Jordan. Steve Scalise, who withdrew his name from consideration last week, he has endorsed Jim Jordan. Kevin McCarthy, the now disgraced former speaker, even he has endorsed Jim Jordan. The vast majority of Republican voters want Jim Jordan. And so, naturally, true to form, these 20 Republicans voted against him. How could you even get away trying to write a scripted parody like this? Who would believe it? Again, Cat Turd said it best, as he always does. The Republican Party is such an embarrassing joke. And it is. The reason why we love Trump so much is because for 4 straight years, he fought for us. For 4 straight years, he vigorously and unwaveringly defended our values, interests, and concerns, not the values, interests, and concerns of the establishment donor class. That's why he has the loyalty of voters that no other politician in the nation has. That's why he's stronger now than he's ever been, either in 2016 or 2020. Now, I want to break down for you the 3 groups of Republicans that are voting against Jim Jordan. I came across some excellent analysis that, again, will help us make some sense of what's going on here. But first, if this is driving you crazy, you need to come out with me to check out this year's Texit Con. That's right. From November 9th to 12th, my team and I will be joining thousands of patriots in Waco, Texas for a week of celebrating faith, family, and freedom in a movement that promises to be an arc for patriots if things go awry in 2024. I'll be doing a live meet and greet for my Insiders Club members at this year's conference, and I hope to see as many Texas Turley talkers as possible. Let's set a new attendance records and show the rhinos and woke demons in D.C. that patriots have had enough, and we're going to preserve a society of faith, family, and freedom one way or another. Click on that link in the description below to get your tickets now, and I'll see you all in Waco. I came across an excellent analysis by Greg Price of the 3 groups of Republicans that voted against Jim Jordan. Again, I think it helps explain precisely how things really work in D.C. The first group is called the appropriators, and he notes there that there's an old saying in Congress that there are three parties: Democrats, Republicans, and appropriators. Now, what he means by that is these are the people who sit on the House Appropriations Committee, and that's the committee that's in charge of appropriating and spending money. Now, I would say taxpayer money, but that's peanuts compared to deficit spending, where countries like Saudi Arabia and China buy up our debt via bonds, and that's where the real money is. Anyway, needless to say, those who sit on the Appropriations Committee accumulate massive power and affluence. Obviously, it's not a coincidence that 7 of the 20 rhinos that voted no on Jim Jordan sit on the House Appropriations Committee. So these people just want to spend money until there's no tomorrow, and they're nervous that Jim Jordan is going to interrupt that gravy train. So that's the first group. The second group is made up of defense hawks, and these, of course, are members of the Uniparty who, for whom acquiring tremendous power and influence obtains through military industrial spending, sending billions upon billions upon billions of dollars to Ukraine, now possibly Israel, and getting rich in the process, just like we saw with Hunter and Joe. And they obviously don't like Jim Jordan's insistence that we're finally done funding Ukraine. 4 of the no's come from members of the Armed Service Committee. And then finally, the third category is comprised of Republicans who serve in Biden-won districts. So these are Republicans who represent blue districts, and so they don't want to vote for a firebrand conservative like Jim Jordan. Now, the bizarre joke in all of this is that there are several members like Brian Fitzpatrick, David Volato, others who represent blue districts but voted enthusiastically for Jordan. In other words, obviously you're not going to get voted out in a general election for who you voted for speaker. That's just nuts. No one cares. Now, you can get primaried, and that's exactly what will happen to a number of these rhinos. But if you're going to vote like a Democrat, I mean, just leave. Forget it. Represent the Republicans in your district that voted for you, or leave. So those are basically the 3 groups that voted against Jordan. And we'll have to see if some backroom deal making is enough to get the majority of them to change their vote. We don't need all of them, just a majority. I can imagine assurances to the Appropriations Committee will be the easiest. I'm assuming promising funds to Israel will help with the Armed Services Committee members. And a round of promising polling will help with the Blue District Republicans. Either way, the Republican Party has unfortunately demonstrated once again precisely why so many of their own voters rightfully distrust them. Are you ready to join the resistance? Because I'm leading a group of dedicated, courageous patriots who can lead a spearhead into the heart of the secular globalist establishment. We punished Bud Light and Target, driven CNN and the legacy media to near bankruptcy, forced BlackRock to backtrack on ESG, and now we're seeing our conservative-dominated Supreme Court ending affirmative action and protecting religious liberty. In my Insiders Club, I show you concrete steps to take locally and online that will only keep this mass uprising going until the battle is won. Don't wait. Click the link in my description below and join my Courageous Patriots Insiders Club today.